Stretch Internet Broadcast Studio. Please enter your 4-digit code now. Your code has been accepted. Your broadcast will begin in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Burns Center, Grover C. Redford Gymnasium, as the Viking women won tonight, 55-51, and in a couple of minutes it'll be the men's turn as the Vikings will take on the Avila Eagles. Going into tonight, the Vikings really playing well. They've won 2 of their last 3, 2-5 in the league, and Avila is 2-5 as well. So this is the game for 6th place in the conference, and Valley wants to continue on the roll. But it won't be easy. The Avila Eagles always a very good team. Rodney Perry is the head coach in his 3rd year. Again, 7-10 overall. The Vikings are 7-12. So these teams really mirror each other, and I think it's kind of been that way the last few years. So we're really expecting a pretty good ball game tonight. Well, we had a chance to visit with both coaches.
Yeah, Lance Jones was before this ball game. Coach, your ball club really playing some good basketball right now.
Yeah, we're just working on trying to stay focused and just work on, trying to get better every day in practice, and hopefully it leads over to the game.
Now, I think the game on Monday night against Benedictine, you started off, they jump out to 11-2 lead, and you go, oh boy, we're a little hungover from that 3 overtime game, but then your guys just kind of stop and really turn this thing around.
Yeah, I thought, we showed some resiliency, and, every game, it's basketball. There's going to be highs and there's going to be lows, and there's going to be minutes people are going to make runs on you or jump out to early leads, and you just got to be able to maintain composure and keep plugging away. And, one thing I noticed was we'd gave up 16 points in 5 minutes, and then we gave up 13 in the next 15 minutes. So,
how about this Avila ball club? They're always a scrappy bunch.
Scrappy, it starts off, I think, definitely with their guards. They really get on top of you, don't let you enter it, and Coach does a great job with them defensively. So I know that he's going to have his ball club, definitely ready to go.
Yeah, I think at games at their place and here, I just think the years I've been doing this, they always seem like they're just complete battles.
Yeah, definitely. A little bit like Benedictine, some very similar styles. They're mixing some things up right now. I know they're shorthanded with a few kids and stuff, but I know they're definitely going to be ready to play. This is a game that's a moving game for both teams.
Key tonight, Tim?
Well, like you always say, score more points. But, I think that we definitely got to be able to handle some pressure. I think they're going to match up a little bit with some zones, so we got to be able to find soft spots in the zone and, just do what we've been doing and do a good job on the defensive end and start rebounding a little better.
And please rebound so you don't lose your voice.
Yeah, exactly. So, their guards are the best rebounding guards in the conference, and they're plus 100 in offensive rebounds versus their opponents. So, we're definitely going to have to get on the glass.
Coach, talk to you after the game. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, chatting now with Avila men's coach Rodney Perry. And, Coach, we kind of had a rough schedule playing Mid-America, Evangel, and Central Methodist riding rope. Then you got a nice win your last time out against Peru State, 79-75.
Yeah, it's been a tough stretch for us, especially with the 7 players, but they battled, to the very end of every single one of those games, and we just happened to be able to pull one out against Peru State.
We got 3 players in double figures. Your senior, Brandon Redmond, averaging over 12 points a game, but then 2 younger players, Curtis Churchman, a sophomore, averaging over 12. Your leading scorer, Cedric Johnson, a freshman, so you've got some young guys doing a good job.
Yeah, we do. We're very, very proud of Brandon Redmond and his leadership that he provides for our basketball team. Cedric Johnson has, played way beyond his years. And unfortunately for us, we lost Curtis Churchman for the rest of the semester. But we got to pull it together and find a way to get it done.
Well, you and Missouri Valley both sitting at 2-5 in the conference. This could be a big game tonight. Gives one of you a chance to get that 3rd win and move up kind of in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, it's a very, very big ball game for both of us. And it becomes an even tougher game for us because Chad's a very good friend of mine, and if you hate to have to win or lose this ball game either way. But it is a big game because, like you said, it does move us up in a position where where everyone's battling, trying to at least make the conference tournament and get a new season.
All right, so before we give the starting lineups, they're introducing Ed Leslie, the, of course, longtime student and professor of math and computer science for his 40 years of keeping the scorebook for men's basketball. 40 years.
Ed was teaching math when I first came out of college. I had to come to Missouri Valley the summer after I graduated from Westminster to take some classes so I'd be certificated to go teach math at Slater. He was a very good teacher then. What a guy. I mean, he organizes a torch run every homecoming, whoever the Vikings play, they go to that site and they run the torch back to Marshall. And then he's got that Viking car, that old, I'm not sure what it is, but it's an old-time car and painted up in Viking colors. And every time the Vikes score in football, that car is up and down the sideline. Great guy.
All right, so the Vikings and the Eagles will go at it here. Starting lineup. And Rodney Perry's team, wow, are they depleted? They only have down to, 7 players, I believe, right?
Yeah, Curtis Churchman, who is their third leading scorer, averaging over 12 points a game, he got hurt recently, and so he told me really I'm down to 7.5. He said, I think they've got 8 dressed out, but one of the young men hasn't been around that long and really not in the greatest playing shape, I don't think. So, but I tell you what, Rodney does a good job, and they'll play hard. They'll come out of the blocks, and they'll battle us.
Now the Vikings won at CMU, probably had their chances to win in the game against Mid-American Nazarene. Won Monday night against Benedictine, and here they are against Avila. They win tonight. All of a sudden, they bump themselves up to about 6th place in the conference.
Well, we talked to Coach Perry before the game. Both of these teams sitting at 2-5 right now, so a golden opportunity for one of them to move up kind of into the middle of the pack. And as we near the end of the first half of the season, you start thinking about playoff possibilities. What do we have to do to get where? And so it's a big game.
Jordan Epps being introduced to this crowd, the 5'10 freshman, leads this conference in scoring 19.6. And forget that, he's been in the upper 20s the last couple of games.
Oh, and boy, did he step up big in that Mid-America game. Just a big-time player. He's going to be a lot of fun to watch for the next 3 years.
He's from Nixa. Michael Connell, Fort Worth, Texas. Kevin Stander, the 5'10 sophomore. Kevin out of Republic, Missouri. James Pope, 6'4 senior out of St. Petersburg, Florida. And Lawrence Brown has really become a force inside, the junior out of Chicago. And I think that opens a lot up when Lawrence Brown all of a sudden shooting a pretty good percentage inside that lane.
Yeah, Lawrence didn't have as big a game the other night, but against Central Methodist he had 14 and a big 20-point performance against Mid-America here last Saturday afternoon. So, yeah, he's doing a good job.
You mentioned Cedric Johnson. He leads them with 15 points a game. Brandon Redmond in the starting lineup as well. Also, Brandon Murillo. We talked about him a little bit in the women's game.
I think his sister's name was Tori Murillo. I said Courtney. Right. I think it was Tori, though. I saw her after the game.
And Zach Smith. How about these uniforms that Avila has? They're kind of a silver color, and it's kind of a...
kind of pretty.
Yeah, and they kind of, I don't know, with eagles across the front, the Avila Eagles.
Silver against orange. Vikes decked out in their bright orange with white numerals, white lettering. So silver against orange. You probably don't see that combination that often.
Was it Avila a couple years ago, those uniforms with stripes all over?
Oh, wow. Yeah, this looks much better. Maybe they say those. Maybe that's their home uniform.
All right. We'll see them toward the end of the season. Joe All has the first half.
We're ready to go. The Missouri Valley Vikings, Avila Eagles, both teams come in at 2-5 in conference play. Ball in the air, tip controlled by Avila. So they'll get the game's first possession is Cedric Johnson, their leading scorer with 15 points a game, brings it across the left-hand dribble. Oh, he gets it down wide open underneath, and that was Zach Smith. Somehow Zach cut back door. Nobody picked him up. He laid it in with the left hand. Avila out to a quick 2-0 lead.
I did a lot of extra work today, put all these names down on my roster. I'm only going to need about 7 of them.
Yeah, they've got a whole bunch of them listed. Now right wing for Pope. Pope gets it in. Lawrence Brown off the glass, missed it. Nice entry pass into Law. Law's shot just rolled off the rim. Is Redmond, averaging 12.9, brings it across for Avila. Now deep in the left wing to Johnson. Johnson down in the paint to Smith, who had the game's first bucket. Smith spins to the paint, now gets it back outside. Now he takes a return pass, pump fakes 3 times, puts it up and in. So I tell you, Zach Smith, he doesn't look that big. They only list him at 6'5". He's out of Verona, Missouri, but good job of pump faking, went up strong and got his second bucket of the game, 4-0 Avila. Now Pope, James Pope with a 3, got it. James knocks down a trade from the head of the key, and James been playing very well lately, brings the Vikings back to within 1. Johnson out on the perimeter. And now there's going to be a blocking foul. I think it's going to come up, I believe, on Michael Connor as Michael stepped in front of Cedric Johnson. And that'll be the first foul of the game.
What is more orange, these uniforms we're wearing or Chad Lance's jacket?
I don't know.
Different color orange, isn't it?
Chad's kind of a yellowish orange. Now Johnson drives inside. Shot misses. Rebound. Offensive rebound, though, by Keith Taylor inside. He comes in with the left hand and lays it in. So a good job on the offensive glass by Taylor. Avila extends it to a 6-3 lead.
Well, he said this team would really crash the boards.
Jordan Epps cranks up a three. This one misses. Rebound out to Johnson. Avila wants to go full pace. He drives inside. Scoop shot good. And boy, Cedric Johnson takes that thing and takes it right to the rack. He's averaging 15 points a game. And Coach Chad Lance takes a timeout as Avila out to a quick 8-3 lead. And that's kind of what Benedictine did the other night against the Vikings. Chad called a timeout, and Vikes came right back pretty quickly.
Well, they're not the biggest team, but they out-rebound their opponents. And look at this on the offensive glass. They have 254 offensive rebounds. Their opponents 155.
That's a bunch. That's a bunch of offensive rebounds.
They will crash the glass. You better get ready. Vikings, on the other hand, have just 172 offensive rebounds.
You know, Kenan, once again, a pretty nice crowd on hand tonight. This team playing very well and starting to draw some people, not just students, but people from the Marshall and Saline County area, and that's very good to see.
All right, let's see what happens here. 8-3, Avila with a lead.
And Chad has shed the orange coat. Now Epps, head of the key, deep on the right wing. Pope for another three. This one a little bit short. Rebound out of there to Murillo. Brandon Murillo gets it ahead. Oh, and boy, changing ends of the court. Brandon Redmond, the senior, gets loose and slams that one home. Redmond out of Joliet, Illinois. It's a 10-3 Avila lead.
Boy, they got up and down the floor in a hurry.
They did that time. Now Stander, Kevin launches along, but he's knocked down. That should be 3 free throws. Kevin is fouled out beyond the arc. That foul is going to come up on Brandon Murillo. That'll be his first team foul against Avila, and that should be a three-shot foul. Kevin Stander. Kevin is a sophomore out of Republic. Played very well for this Viking team all year long. Just scrappy, one of the hardest-nosed young men I've ever seen, and Kevin knocks down the first free throw. He comes into tonight's game averaging, looks like 8.6 points a game. He'll have one more as he hits the first one. Kevin trying to bring this down to a 5-point game, which he does. So Kevin, a perfect 2 out of 2 from the line. 10-5. Oh, I forgot it's 3. Yeah, he's got another one coming. So he's a chance to make a trifecta here if he can knock down this third free throw. Sophomore bounces it, bends at the knees, shots in the air, got it. So nice job at the line by Kevin that time. Now it's a 4-point game. Now pressure by the Vikings as Redmond splits the double team, gets through, hands the ball back outside to Johnson. Cedric inside to Smith. Now back outside to Murillo. Head of the key, they'll reset the offense to Taylor. Now Redmond left-hand dribble, hounded out there by Michael Connor. Deep on the right wing, now to Smith, down to 8 on the shot clock. Shot clock going down quickly. Dribbling to the baseline. I don't know if they're going to get a shot. They're going to have to hurry. A long three by Johnson. This one misses. So great defense by the Vikings, and Kevin Stander, great job of screening out as he steps right in front of Zach Smith. Smith goes over his back, and that was a classic example of how to screen out by the little guy, Kevin Stander.
A lot of times in that wild shot at the end of the buzzer, you just let it go, but he screened out and made sure that he got fouled. Good job.
10-6, Vikings lead it. Just under 17 minutes left here in the half. There's a three by Michael Connor. This one lips off, but Law Brown gets a rebound up and in. So Lawrence, as he's done so well all year long, crashes the offensive glass, gets the stick back. We got a 2-point game. Vikes need a stop here. Johnson hands outside to Murillo. Murillo left-hand dribble. He gives it off to Redmond. Back to Murillo. Murillo thinks about a three. Now gets it into Redmond, knocked away by Lawrence Brown. Good defense by the Vikings. And I'm taking it, Brandon Murillo must not be a three-point shooter. He had a good look that time and turned it down.
Yeah, I think he said, now we'll go somewhere else with that.
So Vikes on defense, Avila inbounds under their own bucket, leading by a deuce. Now inside Taylor. Back out to Redmond, now back to Taylor. Comes in with the left hand, got it. Nice touch that time as Keith Taylor spins to the inside with the left hand. That's his second bucket.
Beverly Hills, California.
It's a 4-point Avila lead with 16 minutes left in the half. Now Epps has it knocked away, but he's fouled. Somebody reached in and grabbed part of Jordan's arm that time, and that's be a non-shooting foul.
Going to be Keith Taylor. Greg Kespool is that official. Nate Chitwood is out there tonight as well. Long time.
And one of the only subs you'll see tonight, Lewis Lowe, comes into the lineup for Avila. Lewis is a freshman, 6'8", out of Oakland, California. They've only got, I think they have 3 players on the bench. Coach Rodney Perry said only 2 of them really play that much. Now 3 by Epps misses, and Lowe gets in there to crash the board. 12-8, Avila leads it. Now it's reverse dribble by Johnson. Now down low on the baseline, loses the handle. Pope goes to the floor, and there's going to be a tie-up underneath. And with the alternate possession rule, ball will go to the Vikings with 15:44 left in the half.
These Avila uniforms, kind of that glossy look to them, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do.
Good-looking uniform. Vikings wearing their orange tonight.
I tell you, anything looks good after we watch that Central Methodist white that we could not see the numbers on.
You really could not see the numbers from any distance at all.
And we were up in the sky that night trying to decipher the hieroglyphics on the backs of those jerseys. Now Stander, left-hand dribble, gives it back outside to Pope. Hands to Michael Connor. Long 3 by Michael. Got it. It's good to see. Michael Connor knocks down his first bucket of the game. That's the second 3 for the Vikings. They cut the Avila lead to 1.
Some of the football players across the way applauding that. All-American Tyler Davis sitting on the front row.
Yeah, good to see him. Looks like he's healthy, and that's good to see. Murillo deep on the left wing to Johnson. Lob pass. Oh, nice alley-oop as he lobs it over the top to Brandon Redmond. Redmond, the senior, goes up. That was a nice alley-oop that time. 14-11. The Avila lead is 3. Stander for the tie. Got it. So Kevin Stander, who just hit 3 free throws minutes ago, knocks down a tray. Just under 15 minutes, we're tied at 14. Vikings in the man defense. Johnson walks it across, spins to the right side, now gets it inside, and shot missed. James Pope up to bother Brandon Redmond. Now they're going to call a foul, I think, on James. They're going to call James, I believe that's going to be a 2-shot foul.
They called on, are they going to call on him?
Yeah, they called on James. James Pope. The Viking crowd didn't like that call. It was a very late call. In fact, the whistle wasn't blown until after Pope had ripped off the rebound. But
and that was one of your calls we talked about in the earlier game. Another one of his officials was right underneath the basket.
Yeah.
And the official from the outside came in and made the call.
Well, that's going to put Redmond on the line for a couple. He's got 4 already. Shot in the air, missed it. So he'll have one more, trying to give the Eagles the lead once again. Redmond averaging 12.9 points a game. As said, he's a senior, as we said earlier, out of Joliet, Illinois. Second shot in the air, got that one. So Redmond gets 1 out of 2, and the Eagles have a slim 1-point lead. Now pressure in the backcourt. Stander gets it ahead, now throws, the ball goes out of bounds off of Epps, throws it off Kevin Stander out of bounds right in front of Coach Rodney Taylor in the Avila bench. So the Avila press forces a turnover here. The Eagles get it back. Down to the forecourt. Johnson out beyond the arc, head of the key. There's a 3 by Murillo. This one misses. Rebound by Lawrence Brown. Has it knocked away, but it goes right to teammate James Pope. The Vikes a chance to take a lead here with a bucket. Epps, stop and go dribble. Gives it back outside to Connor. Michael shuffles towards the middle of the court. Hands to Law Brown. Reverses it to Stander. Stander around a Brown pick. Spins in the lane. Throws up a runner. Wow. That was a highlight move right there. Kevin Stander went left, spun back to the right into the middle, flipped up the runner, and had nothing but net. Vikings lead.
Kevin said Jordan Epps can make that move, so can I.
That was a nice quick move, and they had to get it away that quickly to get it over the big bodies in the lane of the Eagles. And now we're going to call an offensive foul, I think, a shove-off. Is that on Zach Smith? No, it's on Brandon Murillo. They call Murillo for the shove-off underneath, and that's his second foul here with 13:35 left in the half.
And for the first time, we see Kendall Hayes in. James Pope is out. And Jim Thomas is in for the first time.
And Sam Everson checks in the lineup for Avila. He's a freshman guard, 6'2", out of Madison, Wisconsin. Now Hayes gives out to Stander. Vikes with a 1-point lead. Kevin bounces into Law Brown. Law off the glass and in. Nice pass that time by Kevin Stander. He finds Law Brown underneath. Law does a good job getting it in off the glass. Biggest lead for the Vikings. They lead by 3.
Last year and earlier this year, he'd have missed that shot. This time he took it nice and laid it in.
Another nice lob inside. And boy, I tell you, Avila really doing a good job going over the top, but they're going to call a push-off. Is that going to come up? See that foul covered. They call, I guess, no foul that time.
It must have been stepped on the end line, yeah.
Out of bounds lines. They tried to go over the top on that lob pass, and the alley-oop, it worked very well minutes ago, but not that time. Vikings up by 3. Jim Thomas into the lineup. JT out between the circles, guarded by Johnson. Comes around a Law Brown pick. Right wing, there's a jumper by Hayes. This one misses. Law Brown scrambles for the rebound, but Shedrick Johnson comes away with it. Here comes Johnson on the run. Drives into the lane. Now gets it outside. There's a long 3 that misses. And I think they're going to call Keith Taylor. I think they're going to say he pushed off on the rebound as Taylor had a lot of separation that time, and that's his second foul. That 3 was attempted by Sam Everson. Taylor got the offensive rebound, but apparently shoved off. So he's got 2 fouls. Brandon Murillo also has 2 as Brandon Redmond checks back into the Avila lineup. And folks, in case you just joined us, we'll remind you once again, the Avila Eagles with only 8 players and only 7 that have played very much this year at all. Now Epps gives it outside to Stander. Stander guarded out there by Everson. Kevin comes around a Lawrence Brown pick. Ball fake, back out to Thomas. JT's 3 in the air, misses. Nice offensive rebound, Lawrence Brown. Up, missed the follow. And Murillo gets the rebound for Avila. 18-15, Vikings lead it. We're down to 12 minutes here in the first half. Johnson, right wing to Redmond. Redmond head of the key to Smith. Smith gives it back to Everson. Everson head of the key to Redmond. This team runs a pretty good disciplined offense. There's a jump shot by Johnson. Good movement, good ball movement that time by Avila as Cedric Johnson knocks down the 15-footer. He's got 4. It's an 18-17 Viking lead. Stander, Kevin pulls up for another 3. This one a little strong. Johnson the rebound. He wants to go coast to coast. Pulls up just inside the free throw line. Misses the jumper. Battle for the rebound. Redmond gets it. Redmond rips down the rebound. Now brings it out of the paint. Back out beyond the arc. Johnson will reset the offense. Redmond says, too many bodies in here for me. I'm getting out here where I've got some space. Now back to Zach Smith. Smith head of the key. Redmond. Right wing Everson. Gives it back to Smith. Good ball movement again by Avila. Is Everson down the block. Now gets it down there to Lewis Lowe. Now back to Johnson. He pulls up for a jumper. This one rolls out. Battle underneath for the loose ball. They're saying that ball was last touched by one of the Eagles. The ball will go back to the Vikings. 18-17, down under 11 minutes, 10:55 left. Friend David Smith sitting alongside. We're ready to get David back in the lineup. He's nursing a knee injury right now. Get him back here as quick as we can. Okay, Jordan Epps walks it across for the Vikings. Trying to build on that 1-point lead. Now Epps backs it out back near the Viking in midcourt. Wants to reset the offense. Hands outside to Hayes. Hayes to Connor. Connor's long 3. This one misses. Michael hits the deck. Rebound out of there by Lowe. Ahead to Everson, wide open under. Oh, Michael Connor got back and made Everson miss. Boy, a nice job by Michael Connors. He got all the way back. It looked like it was going to be an easy shot for Sam Everson. And Michael got back and contested that layup. Everson tried to go underneath and flip it back in and hit the bottom of the rim out of bounds.
And he said it was hit on top of the head. I think it's the ball that might hit him on top of the head. So good job by the Vikes.
18-17, Vikings lead here, a slim 1-point lead. The lead's been back and forth here in the first half. Connor, stop and go dribble. Outside, Hayes, a 3 in the air. This one misses. Rebound Johnson for Avila. Boy, he gets up and down the floor quick, but now has it taken away by Epps. Michael Connor by himself lays it in. Give Jordan Epps a steal. Michael Connor the basket. Timeout Avila, 20-17 Vikings with exactly 10 minutes left in the half.
Yeah, and good job by the Vikes. They got the steal there, got the bucket, and Well, I'm impressed with this Avila team. They don't play many, but they are quick, aren't they?
I tell you, they're doing a good job running their half-court offense. And I tell you better get back when Cedric Johnson gets that ball.
Yeah.
It's going to be about 2.5 seconds. He's going to be on the other end of the court.
He gets down there in a hurry. He has 4 points. Redmond has 5. For the Vikings, the leading scorer, Kevin Stander. Kevin has 8 to lead the way for Valley, 4 for Brown, 5 for Connor. They're the 3 that have scored or 4, and then James Pope has 3.
As we said, exactly 10 minutes left here in the first half, so we're 1/4 of the way through this game. We said that last Saturday. We were about, when I said that against Mid-America, we were probably about 1/10 of the way through the game.
3 hours from the end of that game. Wow, was that a long afternoon of basketball.
Okay, it'll be Avila basketball, down by 3. A couple of players for Avila with 2 fouls. Brandon Murillo and Keith Taylor both have 2. Nobody on the Vikings has more than 1. In fact, the Vikes only have 2 team fouls. Now Lewis Lowe, head of the key, gives it outside to Redmond. Redmond to Zach Smith, fakes a jumper, now gets it to Johnson. Johnson backs it out, now down on the block to Lowe. Lowe backs in, has it knocked away, blocked away by Kendall Hayes that time. Good D by Kendall.
Yep, and then DeLiska came up with a loose ball. Now,
there's a steal.
Very careless.
As Brandon Redmond steps right in the passing lane, gets a steal and lays it in. And we've got a 1-point game, Vikings on top.
Well, DeLiska had it at midcourt. He was going to flip it to Epps, and he did not see Redmond stepped right in front and took it away. Easy lay.
Jordan Epps around a pick, hands back outside to Hayes, deep on the right wing to Connor. Connor around a screen with a left-hand dribble. Down on the baseline, Jim Thomas down on the block. DeLiska has it knocked away, but it goes out to Thomas. JT skips it on the left wing. There's a 3 by Hayes. This one pinballs out. And Zach Smith grabs a rebound. He's going to be fouled by Michael Connor, and that'll be Michael's second. That's Vikings. 4th team foul on the Vikings as Stander checks back in. Michael Connor will take a seat. Kendall Hayes sits down. James Pope comes back into the Viking lineup.
Well, we've got the bodies to match them. Their bench is kind of depleted. Let's see if we use that to our advantage.
I'm not sure how well this team can shoot from the outside except for Cedric Johnson. He's pretty tough, but the rest of them seem like they like to go inside more. Now they get it outside to Murillo. Murillo on the wing to Johnson. Johnson guarded now by Jim Thomas. Hands it, tries to get it to Lowe, but stolen away by Epps. Good quick hands by Jordan. Pulls up for the 14-footer and knocks it down. And that's Jordan Epps' first bucket of the game. He got the steal, got the jump shot. Vikings go back up by 3.
When you say the three-point shot, they're only 80 out of 279, just 28%.
They're driving inside. Redmond being shoved by Stander, and they're going to call travel. And I tell you what, Kevin Stander was not going to let Brandon Redmond push him out of the way that time, and Redmond tried and then went to his knees and called for the travel.
It's a very physical club. And coming out is who checked out? Let's see, that was Lewis Lowe. He's a big guy.
Yeah, he is.
6'8".
22-19. Vikings lead it here at home, trying to win their 3rd game in their last 4 tries. There's a long 3 by Epps, and Epps knocks that down. Jordan Epps has hit his last 2 shots. Vikings out for a 6-point lead, by far their biggest lead of the game.
Rodney Perry said, uh-oh, if he gets going, look out.
Head of the key, Redmond, back on the left wing to Murillo. Murillo gets it out to Johnson, now deep on the right wing to Keith Taylor. The left-hander gets it high post to John Mosley, who's checked into the lineup. Now back outside, Murillo down to Redmond. Redmond outside, down to 5 on the shot clock. They're going to have to hurry as Johnson spins inside, loses the handle, now flips it up and in. Oh, wow. That shot clock was winding down. Somehow Cedric Johnson regrouped, got the ball in midair, and flipped it in.
Off the glass. Wow.
25.
Good defense, though. Good.
Yeah, that was great defense by the Vikings. 25-21, Vikings still on top. Now Epps tried to get it inside to Law Brown, has it taken away by Johnson. Oh, lead pass to Redmond. Basket in one as Kevin Stander comes out on Brandon Redmond's back and a chance for the 3-point play. So just like that, Avila, who was down by 6 just seconds ago, could make this a 1-point game.
Well, and Jordan Epps doesn't make many mistakes. He made one there. He dribbled into the corner and got trapped, and then his pass into the lane was picked off.
That foul comes up on Stander. That's his first. That's the 4th team foul on the Vikings, and that'll put Brandon Redmond on the line as he'll try to complete the 3-point play.
Exactly 7 minutes to go first half.
Redmond bends at the knees. Shots in the air, got it. So Redmond, he's having a good night so far. Got him at 11 points already. So he leads all scorers, and it's what was a 6-point lead just a minute ago is now down to a 1-point Viking lead. Now pressure, Avila applies pressure in the backcourt. Pope gets it across the timeline to Jim Thomas. Thomas right in front of the Avila bench, skips it over to Standard. Kevin comes around a screen, thinks about a three, now instead hands to Thomas on the right wing. JT left-hand dribble, now bounces it into Law Brown. Nice pass, missed it, tipped by Pope, missed the first one but got the second one. James Pope stayed with that one, missed the first tip, stayed up there with the left hand though and tapped her in to extend the lead back to 3. Everson inside to Taylor. Taylor, the left hand. Oh, nice shot that time. It's Keith Taylor, kind of an awkward position, but he spins with the left hand and kisses it off the glass. Lead back down to 1. Epps to Thomas. Head of the key to Pope. Deep left wing Standard. Kevin's 3 in the air. This one's short. Offensive rebound, Lawrence Brown. Jim Thomas will try a tray. This one misses. And a great job by James Pope tapping the ball out. Now they're going to call, I believe, Kevin Stander over the back on the rebound.
Yeah, Kevin went up there, but he got him on the shoulder.
That'll be Kevin's second foul. That's the 5th team foul. Both teams have 5 now.
And Brody Thompson. Brody had a nice game Monday night.
Vikings lead it by 1, 27-26. Avila trying to regain the lead. They've got the ball. Taylor outside, spins outside the free throw line, hands outside to Cedric. Johnson bumped by Pope, and they're going to call it. They're going to call a block on James. That'll be his second. James did what so many big guys try to do, and the big guy sets a screen for the guard. The big guy on defense guarding the guy that sets the screen will step right in the path of the dribbler, and James tried to do that time, but Johnson pretty quick, and he draws a foul. Head of the key now, Everson. I keep wanting to say Iverson, Allen Iverson. Yeah. Now Johnson spins in, back out ahead of the key, Murillo. Murillo outside to Johnson. Johnson splits the double team. There's a 3 by Murillo in the air, missed it. Rebound comes out of there to Brody Thompson. Thompson left wing Epps. Epps all the way to the rack. Missed it, but the tip by Lawrence Brown is good. So Law Brown once again gets an offensive rebound, makes the most of it as he taps it back in. Vikings up by 3.
Boy, he was way up there to tip that one in. Good job.
Now Avila the other direction. Head of the key, Everson. Walked, got away with it, no call. There's a 3 by Johnson. This one hits the back of the rim. And nice rebound by Kendall Hayes. See where Kendall kind of put his hand on the back of one of the Avila guys and got a little extra boost as he went up. Now Coach Chad Lance tells the Vikes to come out and set the offense. They lead by 3. Hayes down low. Law Brown up and in. So Law Brown, give him 8, and Kenny's starting to really become a force down in the paint as the Vikings lead once again by 6.
No doubt about it. He has really become a good post player. A whistle and a foul here or something.
Now I got a timeout. Something came out on the floor, I think. I don't know if somebody dropped something or what that was. But coming into the Avila lineup, Brandon Redmond checks back in. Also the big guy, Lewis Lowe, and he's a load. He's 6'8". I don't know what his weight is, but he's pretty solid. 31-26, 4:23 left in the half. The Vikings lead. Avila grabbed an early lead. The Vikings have led about the last 3 minutes or so and playing very well right now. Now the low block. Lowe spins on DeLiska. Pumps, throws it. Oh, man, strong shot. His Lowe goes right over the top of Lionel DeLiska, kisses it off the glass and in. Pretty strong move right there. Now, I thought the Vikes had a 6-point lead. Now it's down to 3.
Yeah, it was 5. It's just 5.
Just 5, okay. So it's down to a 3-point lead right now. Now Thomas, wraparound pass. There's a long 3. It's good by Jim Thomas. As JT, the left-hander, knocks down his first bucket of the game. That's a tray. Now it's a 6-point lead.
There we go.
34-28, Vikings lead it. Lowe, hands right wing to Murillo. Murillo left-hand dribble, back to Johnson. Johnson guarded by Thompson. Down to Lowe. Lowe guarded by Nick Diotta, who's in the lineup. And Lowe throws up a wild shot this time. Can't get this one to go, and rebound comes out to Hayes, ahead to Thompson. Back to Kendall. Kendall with a runner in the lane. This one rolls in and out. Kicks back out. Nick Diotta tries to grab the offensive rebound, can't get possession. So with 3:15 left, ball back to the Eagles, down by 6. Now Johnson walks across. I'm sure some of these guys have to be getting a little bit tired.
Oh my goodness, they played a lot of minutes, and this is not a slow-paced game.
Yeah. There's Johnson, head of the key, guarded by Epps. Gets it high post. There's a turnaround by Zach Smith. This one misses. Nice offensive rebound, though, by Redmond. And he's going to be fouled. Going to be a 2-shot foul as Brandon Redmond once again crashes the offensive board, gets the carom, and he's fouled underneath by Nick Diotta. That'll be Nick's first foul. That's the 7th team foul on the Vikings. This one's 2 shots, but with 2:53 left in the half, Avila will be in the 1-1 for the rest of the half. Redmond, 11 points in the game already. He'll have 2 right here. First shot in the air, missed it. Now he'll have 1 more as the Viking football players across the way give him a hand for missing that free throw. Now Redmond will have 1 more. So try to cut this down to a 5-point lead. Second shot, missed it. So Redmond comes up empty on those 2 attempts. Rebound by Hayes. So Vikes can extend the 6-point lead here. Head of the key to Hayes. Hayes hands outside to Thomas. JT. It's like Avila back in the zone now. They've kind of switched from man to man to zone. Now they're back in the zone. Thompson gets it down low to Hayes. Hayes spins, hands back to Epps. Jordan almost loses the handle. Gets it back to Thomas. His 3. Missed it.
Boy, it looked good, didn't it?
Yeah, it had good rotation right in front of us, but it kind of lipped off to the right side. Here comes Johnson for Avila. There's a 3 by Murillo. This one short. A nice offensive rebound, Redmond. I tell you, he's a load in there. The battle for the loose ball, and they're saying it was off of Brandon Murillo out of bounds. So I tell you, Brandon Redmond really pounds that offensive glass, doesn't he? 34-28. Vikings lead. They've led for the last half of the first half. Avila had the lead early on. Vikes have gotten the lead, have never given it back. Thompson, head of the key to Hayes. Hayes left-hand dribble. Fakes on Zach Smith. Puts up a jumper, too strong. Rebound, Johnson ahead to Redmond. Up and in. So nice job of running the floor.
What a pass. I mean that he threw that pass from traffic in the middle of the lane, and it dropped into Redmond's hands perfectly, and he had a 1-step advantage. I'll tell you what, that was a heck of a pass.
Looks like an NFL quarterback, doesn't he? I saw some guys play in the playoffs last Sunday that weren't that accurate.
Wow. He dropped it right in. That was a pretty impressive play.
Now 1:49 to go in the half. It's a 34-30 lead. The Vikings on top here at home as the Vikings trying to win their 3rd conference game of the year. They've won 2 out of their last 3. They and Avila both come in with 2-5 conference records. So both these teams would really love to have a win tonight as we head to the last game of the first half of the season on Saturday.
Unbelievable that we'll be halfway through the Heart of America Conference. And I think it's the first week in March, I believe, the last couple of days in February. And the first week of March is when they have the conference tournament. So,
well, the tower just came crumbling down as one of the cheerleaders fell to the.
I'm not going to do that.
Fell to the floor, but she landed on the mat, so everything's okay.
That looks dead. Well, they better work on that until they have the competition in a couple of weeks.
34-30. Vikings lead at 1:49 to go in the half, as we said. And it'll be, I believe it'll be Viking ball as Redmond just knocked down that layup on that beautiful pass from Cedric Johnson. For the Vikings is Jim Thomas, Nick Diotta, Brody Thompson, Jordan Epps, and Kendall Hayes on the floor right now. Okay, back to basketball. Good crowd on hand here tonight. As Epps brings it across. Comes around a Diotta screen. Hands to Hayes, head of the key. Back to Thomas. JT back to Nick Diotta. Diotta gives it out to Epps, down to 19 on the shot clock. Epps spins inside, has it knocked away, now taken away. Lead pass to Johnson. And I mean, he came out of nowhere and missed the shot. Redmond missed the foul, and he's fouled. Boy, Cedric Johnson missed a wide open layup. Brandon Redmond almost as open on the foul, missed his shot, and finally Nick Diotta hammers in.
Well, Diotta was coming hard, and he might have heard some footsteps, but let's see if he can earn them at the line. Yeah, they missed two very easy opportunities.
Redmond with 13 points. He leads all scorers. He'll have 2 free throws here with 1:23 left as he'll try to bring Avila back within 2 as we near the end of the first half. Redmond averaging almost 13 points a game. And the Viking football players revving it up once again, and Redmond misses it. That was just a 1-and-1, so he missed another free throw. He's missed 3 in a row from the stripe. So the Vikes dodged the bullet with a 4-point lead. Now it's a steal by Redmond. There's a 3 by Everson. This one comes up short. Battle for the loose ball, and they're going to say it was out of bounds off of Lewis Lowe, I believe. Nope. No, it was off one of the Vikings. One of the Vikings. You know, Jordan Epps is quick. Yeah. He's very quick. These guys, these Avila guys are quick too.
Johnson and Redmond both. Man, they can, as Coach said, they're the best rebounding pair of guards in the conference, and they can really get after it. They're good. They're good players.
Okay, Avila will inbound under their own bucket, trailing by 4 with 1:04 left to play. In the corner, Murillo, he fakes Thompson into the air, misses the shot. And that's going to be a push-off, I believe, on Lewis Lowe underneath.
But they're just not, at least to this point, not a very good outside shooting team.
No, they like to get that ball into the paint, and they've had some good looks from the outside and really have not converted very many. Pressure by Avila in the backcourt. Nice bounce pass as Thompson gets it through the wicket to Kendall Hayes. Now there's a double team right there, and they're going to say Jim Thomas stepped on the out-of-bounds line. So pretty good double team that time by Avila.
Well, the Vikings forced him to that sideline. They could use the sideline as a third defender. And when he did, he was in trouble and stepped out of bounds.
So Avila will inbound, trailing by 4. We're under a minute, 53 seconds left to play here in the half. Johnson walks it across the left-handed dribble, guarded by Thompson. Gets it down on the block to Lowe. Lowe back outside to Murillo. Murillo hounded by Jim Thomas. Murillo bounce pass to Lowe. Lowe loses his balance but gets it back out to Redmond. Redmond reverses to Johnson as Avila wants to run some clock. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Johnson pulls up for the J. Oh, nice touch that time. That ball kind of got on the back side of the rim, just kind of hung there a minute and dropped through. We've got a 2-point game with 20 seconds left. Johnson just a freshman. Jordan Epps for Valley just a freshman. Couple pretty good-looking freshman guards out here. Now Thomas deep in the right wing. Brody Thompson throws up a shot that's short. Nice offensive rebound. Law Brown has it taken away by Redmond. 2-1. Redmond at the buzzer. It won't count. And we played a half here at the Burns Athletic Complex, Grover C. Redford Gymnasium. Been a good game, a seesaw affair, and with 20 minutes left to play, the Vikings lead it 34-22. 34-32, excuse me.
We'll be back. We'll have the scoring and more.
Because this crutch never needed to be carved. Because these legs never grew weak. Because this child never got polio. Over the past 20 years, Rotary Club members have helped immunize over 2 billion children against polio. Now we're on the brink of eradicating this crippling disease once and for all. But we need your help. Thanks to an historic matching grant from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, every dollar Rotary raises will work twice as hard to make sure vaccines reach the people who need it, to protect the children of the world against polio forever. This is an opportunity to end polio now. Visit rotary.org/endpolio. Rotary. Humanity in motion.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to report a bear sighting.
Location?
My backyard.
Oh, your backyard. Try telling a bear that.
I did, and this bear talked back.
Talking bear, that's rich.
No, wait, it was Smokey Bear.
Smokey, why didn't you say so?
I did say so.
Continue.
I was burning yard waste.
No, boy.
He told me to burn legally and responsibly, and to remember that if it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave.
And as always, he's right. You know, 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans. That means 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented.
Yeah, I know that now.
Thanks to me.
Actually, thanks to Smokey.
As usual, the talking bear gets all the credit. Always burn responsibly and contact your local fire department for open burning regulations. Because 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.